Welcome
Welcome
to Shade
to
in the
Shade in the
City.
City.
I'm Treese, as you guys
It's
know.
Nels.
And today what are we doing? Oh, we are doing Married at First Sight reunion part 1, y'all. So let's get into it. We know it's going to be a mess. I'm going to have to look at this nice person for another hour of my life. So y'all know I'm going to be shady. I can't help because I don't want to look at her because she is not a nice person. So here we go. Let's get shady.
So we jump right into the reunion. And apparently everyone feels like now it's a lot easier now that the cameras are gone. They feel like they can breathe. It's not as difficult. And Lindsay starts off with the shade.
Well, we do learn that Mark looks good. Mark looked like he lost a couple pounds.
About 40 pounds, he said, I believe. Right. Yes.
And he asked, well, is that because Lindsay changed your diet? And we automatically come in noticing, at least for me, that there was some kind of tension between Lindsay and Mark. She's on one, and it's a love seat, so it ain't much room that you get. But he's on one side and she's on the other. So needless to say, it ain't looking good, folks. But they still are sitting next to each other. And he says, yeah, I wouldn't give her that much credit. The burgers just went to sushi. But, yeah, she did change
that would be giving her credit. Because you didn't even touch sushi before you met Lindsay.
That don't mean you lost weight. Some sushi can be fattening.
It's not as fattening as burgers.
Stop it. Let Mark live.
Okay. I'm letting him live. I just want him to tell the truth. And give credit where credit is due. Basically, Lindsay she's already starting off with the shade as she normally does. She says that she didn't realize she would have to take the reins on so many different difficult decisions. Of course, she's referring to Mark, and Mark clearly didn't like that. He kind of like side-eyed her. I don't know if he's picking up on Lindsay's attitude because he's surely on stage giving it. Okay, he's giving Lindsay.
They're both giving, not happy, and we're probably no longer married.
We know Mark is not the type to like give attitude. He's kind of the type to like shy away a little bit. I think he's been around Lindsay too long.
Right. That toxicity is just rubbed off on him.
Poor little tank. Elijah says that it was definitely different than what he expected. He didn't expect it to be easy. But he had an idea of what he wanted. He was like, well, I feel like he did kind of expect it to be easy because he knew who he was and what he wanted, and when he came in, that's what he was gonna get. Right. And yeah, that's not what it was. Alyssa, Treese's favorite, says when they
I don't even know why you would play with my life like that.
I can't wait till we get into Alyssa.
I'm actually a good person.
They show a clip of Alyssa basically not being totally honest and truthful about how she felt and where her relationship
with the other ladies
was going with Chris. And she says, really at the time she didn't feel comfortable sharing with the ladies at that point.
Then Kevin asked her, so were you not honest because you wanted to use this false narrative of moving into this house so that you could and act like you still wanted to try something just so you could be around the other ladies? No, that's
she says it was a false narrative that basically she felt like they still had to film, which you really didn't because you weren't in a relationship. But she said that they still had to film, and both her and Chris lived far from the apartment, which is where the filming was going to happen. So she felt like it was only fair that they split the time where she's there for a certain amount of time and he's there for a certain amount of time. And of course, while she's there, she was going to, hang out with the girls. Now, Lindsay, Of course, we know she was definitely on Chris's side. She was his number one fan. And she says she feels like really the reason why the relationship failed is all Alyssa's fault. Chris didn't have anything to do with it. He is super kind. And Alyssa's really not a nice person, as Treese would say. Elijah says that, there could have been more effort on Alyssa's part. And he feels like she really should have gave Chris a chance. Now, they bring up the whole comment that Lindsay made about Steve, about him being a jobless dad and Noy being a stay-at-home mom. I said, oh, shit. Now, Steve feels like the reason why why Lindsay kind of came for him is because he made the comment about, what was it? Lindsay being the reason for the argument on the plane with Elijah. And he says, he was a very apologetic. He says that it was a joke. He wasn't really trying to, get her in her feelings, but that's why, she said what she said. And apparently Noy and Lindsay are super close, and he's fine with their, friendship, their relationship. Because he says he does believe Lindsay's a nice person, but he tells Noy, like, don't tell her no secrets. And apparently Noy told her that about their sex life. And this heifer went back and told production. And I don't really feel like she really 100% said no that she didn't. It sounded like she was trying to say no, but Lindsay
really couldn't say no. She wasn't sure.
Yeah, Noy was like, well, production told us that you did. She was like, well, I didn't tell anyone here. It's just not what we said,
right,
ma'am. We are sitting down with the couples one by one, and we get right into
Casina and Elijah.
Yes. Now Kevin starts off by saying that he did not think their relationship was going to work. He said he didn't see it working.
Like all of us thought. We didn't think this was going to work.
But he said you noticed very quickly that they balance each other perfectly. And he talks about the whole dance scene at the wedding. Katina said she just thought it was funny. Apparently everybody else felt uncomfortable, but she thought it was funny. And, he gave her a little warning. He let her know, he was going to dance. And she was like, well, I didn't know he was going to pull up his shirt and everything. But really, all that just let me know he had a big personality, which he does. Also, he gets on the fact that, Kevin talks about how Elijah just kept on complimenting Katina at the wedding. He just thought she was beautiful, just the finest thing on God's green earth, and how Katina felt about that. And she said, yeah, she definitely appreciated the compliments, when they met, but she still kind of, had her guard up. Because I did notice when he was like, yeah, I just want to kiss you. They showed a clip. He was like, I just want to kiss you. She was just like, mm-hmm. He was like, well, can I get a kiss? So she's just like, okay. But I guess it is day one,
right. Well, I mean, what do you think? They set you up with a predator? I mean, what?
Just because it ain't reported don't mean you never know. Shit, you ain't have to get caught. So of course, what we all want to know is Elijah still stern on the fact that his wife need to make him dinner every night?
And he is not.
Apparently not.
Elijah has
answered that first. First one said no, he not. He's like, she is my queen. She's my queen to be. So proud. She gonna be so proud of Elijah. He was like, no, I realized after some self-reflection, probably watching these clips, that I need to fall back. He's like, she works too, and she's my queen. I don't need her on her feet all the time. He was like, if we hungry, she don't want to cook, we go out to eat, we order some food, and that's really how it's supposed to be. Like, Katina is on the fact, apparently, when he was talking about her inedible food, I think she got a little bit defensive about that. She said it was hard to, hear, like, that she was not, like, I'm gonna say,
hard when she feels like she's giving
her wifely duties.
Right.
And he made her feel like she was falling short. So I'm sure this whole thing about the food being inedible was a little bit of a trigger. But she said what happened was she had put some chicken in the air fryer, forgot about it. She was probably getting high with Olajuwon, who the fuck knows, okay? And forgot all about it. And when they went to bite the chicken, he was just like, you cannot cook at all.
And he gives me that. He gives me that. Like, just overly dramatic.
He, once again, he said he did a lot of, self-reflection. And he's glad that, she was patient and, there's clearly some growth there. Now, Kevin says that you did
what Kevin
basically
says.
Look, F theory, okay? Is there something that you have done or you can do to give her validation in how you believe? And Olajuwon turns around, so he can see her eye to eye. So she knows how serious he is. And he gets down on one knee and pulls out this fat ass rock and proposes.
Well, again, because they already married.
Well, yes, again. I mean, it was
basically really, he just upgraded her.
Right? And of course, Katina breaks down. And for the first time, we find out this is the first time she says, I love you. She got that rock and she's like, well, I love you, baby. I love you.
Okay.
So he said it to him. He was like, yeah, this is the first time. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of special that, we caught that,
It warms my heart. I was over here shedding tears.
I knew it. I said she ain't gonna be able to go in on Olajuwon this round, this go round. And she said she's speechless, and it's a big ass ring.
Yes, it is.
I said. So Olajuwon is even teary-eyed. He said, on this journey, he keeps on bringing up his self-reflection. Okay, it's not just me. All right, it's him.
And I think too, the Twitterverse, the YouTubeverse came for him.
I think he needs to remind them as well that he did do a lot of self-reflection. I think a lot of people do when they see themselves on TV acting.
Yeah, but like he said, they were reading the comments. And he was hearing and how people viewed him, how he looked. It's not so much how you view yourself, but when you start to see how other people see you, then it's like, damn, is that how I look? He said, how did I sit on this show the whole time and nobody ever told me I was an asshole? No, they told you. You just weren't receptive to it. You had to see it for yourself.
Even Dr. Pepper tried to.
That's what I was going to say. Dr. Pepper told him was an asshole.
A whole expert told him.
Right. No, you had to see it for yourself and then hear other people say it again for you to be like, damn, I might be an asshole.
So what got me was, he said, I guess he, mentioned on decision day that she showed him a gray area of his life that needed to be worked on. And it's not her words, it's her presence. And sometimes to be a leader, you don't have to talk. You just have to show your actions. And she has done that.
Yeah, no, it was very sweet. It was very endearing.
Now, I feel like Kevin was kind of moving ass backwards because after all this sweet shit, he brings up the dating app.
Oh, I know, right?
You got the cue to bring up this shit so he could propose. Why didn't you wait till the end? To do the ring and then bring up all this messy shit. Anyways, now Olajuwon does say that he feels like he overreacted and he could have went about it, in a different way.
And he said he would never act like that now, knowing who his wife is.
Mm-hmm. And Katina said, yeah, at this point in their marriage, something like that would never happen again. And he said that looking at all the clips of himself, he felt like he looked like an ass.
He's humbled.
Yes, he is. Kevin even tells him that he's proud of him, that he took this process seriously.
Yeah.
Even when he was mad at her, he was just serious, and he was like, I am locked into this woman, which he did. He was. There was no fuck this, I'm leaving, I'm out. Like, he's
Right.
like, okay, I'm mad, I'm pissed off, this is my wife. We're gonna get through this shit. He says a piece of advice that, he would give everyone is don't knock the man who is forward about who he is. Understand him and don't judge him. Learn about him if he's the right person for you, because everyone will change when it's time for them to change. And he feels like if Katina had taken social media's advice, she wouldn't be up here smiling with this huge ass rock on her hand. And she basically manifested her future. Okay. He said, be scared of the guy who hides his secrets. Don't be scared of the guy who shows you who he is. That's it. This one over here, dropping jewels. And they see themselves in 5 years with a child, a house, a white picket fence, a dog, and a pool. Because apparently Elijah Wan sold his house.
Right.
Because that's
he
where
wanted to
Isaac
let go
was.
of Isaac.
And he said he needs to leave Isaac where he was and anything that was dealing with Isaac in the past, in history. Okay.
You know what this gave me? It just, you changed me, baby. Said I never settled down. I'm with you, girl. Look at me now. You changed me, baby. We get into I'm a good person and Chris.
You said what? I'm a great person.
So we get to their portion of the reunion. Kevin asks how it feels them being together, in the same room. And Chris is like, it's not shit. He's like, I've been around her before. We still all hang out and, we're cordial. So Alyssa says she wants to say something before anything starts. She just wants to get things clear. So she says that she came in here with her best intentions and she came in to find her person. And when she didn't get that, she panicked. She said she didn't handle herself the way she liked. And looking back, she wants everyone to know that she still came here for the right reasons. Not, I'm sorry for being a total.
No, she did apologize. She did apologize to Chris. She was like, and I apologize for that.
See, that's why I didn't even catch that backhanded dumbass apology, because it wasn't sincere. Anyway, so then Kevin asked her, well, when you say that, does that mean you wish you gave Chris a chance? She says no. She says, I don't think me and Chris are made for each other. She says she wishes there were things she didn't say because of the mental state that she was in. And right away, when she saw that she wasn't physically attracted to him, like she just knew. And the mental state that she had being this person, a person that was so, I guess in her mind, so not on her level of physical attractiveness. It was too much for her to bear. And she just went apeshit crazy mentally. And that excuses all her bullshit. Anyway, she does try to.
Once I saw this part, I was like, "Oh, Tracy's gonna go in on this bitch."
She does say, or she does try to say that there were things aside from the physical attraction that upset her. Of course, we cite what she learned from the 3 groomsmen at the wedding, and she said that they're
condescending.
Right. She said that that scared her. She said that she felt like they weren't compatible. They didn't share core values or share any beliefs. How would you know? You didn't know. You would never even sit and have a conversation with him. So how would you know?
I feel like that's what Kevin was trying to get to, but
anyway, so they asked Chris how it makes him feel hearing that. He says it's overwhelming. He says he understands her reaction. However, it's about how you treat people. And this is why everybody is Team Chris, because he could have been a complete dickhead to you and been totally rightful in doing so. And he never did.
He never did. But now that he's seen the shit, he said he didn't see a lot of shit until now after it aired. So he's talking a little bit different. He's still
right. He's like she said was just nasty. The used car salesman that sells
houses. Yeah. He was like, had I known she was saying shit like this, I would have tapped out a long time ago.
she said she knows she said disgusting things. And he basically was like, and that's why she's not worth my time.
Yep.
I said, well, okay, Chris. I'm just so happy for Chris. I'm so happy that he is not like broken, damaged. That girl, I'm a good person, says she wasn't mentally aware of what she was saying or doing. And Chris is steady rolling his eyes. And see,
yeah, she was like, I didn't know what was right or wrong.
Kevin said to her, if you knew that if you know that it wasn't going to work, and you knew the show was about being married and developing a life together, then why did you get on an airplane like we said since review number fucking 2, I think it was? Why would, no, I'm sorry, 3, because the weddings last so damn long. Why would you get on a plane and go on a honeymoon with a man that you had no attraction to and felt that you had shared no core beliefs, no core values? Why would you do that, Miss I'm a Good Person?
But she thought she had to.
Okay. If y'all buying that, but I'm not buying what she's selling. So she said so Chris said, I thought I was just along for the ride. And once I realized that it went from being a process to an experience, he said, I knew once we got back home, this was done. And then they showed the old footage of her talking about, well, I want to be here for the experience and splitting up the apartments and all this other bullshit that ain't not got nothing to do with the premise of the show, which is actually being a married couple and working through your differences and actually getting to know the person to see if this person actually works for you. I'm sorry. She really upsets me. I'm not saying you have to date or like or love someone you're not attracted to. If you can't get through that, you just can't get through it. And that is your choice. And that is fine. That doesn't not give you the right to be a disgusting individual on the inside.
She's not a baddie.
I knew something was wrong with her when she had 10 fucking wedding dresses, ain't even been proposed to. Get the fuck out of here. Then we see a scene where she wanted to talk to the experts, and she's like, where are they? Why wouldn't they be here? You don't think they need to be doing?
They don't need to be for this experience? But she said she didn't want to talk to them because she was mad at them. Because they're the reason she's in this situation.
Because of the person that they chose for her, and what she got. And then Kevin asked her, well, do you mean physically? And she says, in all aspects. I said, can this bitch get any more disrespectful? I can't. So then she acts like she's like tearing up. And, Kevin asked her like, well, what's making you upset? She talks about her tears when he finally decided to divorce her ass. And what was that about? And he was like, were those tears of like you really being upset about the divorce, or were those tears of relief? And she's like, no, just about the whole experience and how we were both cheated. And, and I was just
they were sad. She was sad how everything happened. And then he asked Chris,
it was a whole bunch of bullshit.
He asked Chris, he said, was it hard for you? Bullshit. He asked Chris, was it hard for you to come to that decision? He said, no. He said, I set a record. He was like, I already set a record. He was like, I would have beat that.
He was like, and I would have done it faster had I known.
Had he known. And I believe that.
Other than that, we realized Chris has moved on. He is out here in these streets. He realizes that, he's asking more tough questions when he meets these women, because he's like, I know what I want now. And I'm not just settling for an Alyssa, who I think is a good person.
She says she learned in this process to be mindful of the things you say and how you say them, and just try to be a good person and be better every day.
I'm gonna let Nels talk about her favorite couple.
This actually is my favorite couple. She's not
what I told y'all.
She's not picking fun. It
wasn't gonna work.
Giving away the tea. Okay. Why are you giving away the tea? You be spilling the tea too early.
The streets already know.
Maybe our viewers don't. Okay. Maybe they wait on us because they love us so much.
And shout out to Shanice, by the way. Thank you so much for always commenting and supporting us through the whole season. We appreciate you, love you, and appreciate it. I had to give you a shout out before the season was over.
And Shanice, excuse her for giving away the tea already.
She already know. Really? She already know. She gonna be ready waiting for her comment. That's why we know you, girl.
So clearly next we move on to Jasmina and Michael. And you know, Kevin starts from the beginning with their wedding day.
I'm sorry.
It is too early. Okay. It is too. And why do you seem happy about this? This is a sad, sad day.
I'm sorry. I'm all about Black love. I just knew it wasn't gonna work. And we'll talk about that later because
Oh, now you want to talk about it later? You want to wait till we get to it? Huh? You want to wait till we get to it?
Yeah, we can wait till we get to it.
Yeah. So they say basically that, you know, their wedding was magical. Okay. And of course, they show the scene where Michael, you know, saw Jasmina for the first time and he was nervous and saw her and was just like, wow. Yes. I don't know why I love that moment. It was just so pure and so beautiful. It was like, you know, he was nervous and saw his wife and was like, that's my wife. So Jasmina said she was fine preparing for the wedding, but once she put the dress on, she freaked the fuck out. That's when we saw her talking about she wanted to throw up and she looked like she was hyperventilating, like she was about to lose her mind. And, you know, she knew when she got to the other side of things that she would be okay. Michael says he was calmed by the fact that Jasmina was just as nervous as she was. So, you know, they shared that. And they think that initially, you know, in their relationship, the issue was the struggle with the communication.
We all know that.
Yeah, we picked up on that. Michael was super upset and super shocked when she used the word aggressive, you know, when they had to sit down with Pastor Cal. And he feels like the word aggressive means like you're trying to intimidate someone.
Right.
So Jasmina basically says she stands by the word aggressive.
She said, I understand how it feels as a Black woman, how that word can make you feel some type of way. But as a Black woman speaking to a Black man, I'm telling you, it was aggressive.
She says that most people feel that the word aggressive is like only physical, but you can also be aggressive with your speech. So she's standing in her shit and she feels like it was still aggressive.
Said what she said.
Basically. And after that, Michael don't want to talk to her no more. They ain't talk for like a month.
Nope. So,
apparently he felt like if they had a disagreement or argument, you know, he didn't want to come off aggressive. Now, I don't know if this was being petty or he was actually worried because he said, you know, he was worried. He didn't want to come off that way. And, you know, but it sounded like some petty shit. Like, oh, I don't want to talk to you because I might be aggressive. And he says that he really felt like he didn't have the tools to communicate with her. So he chose not to speak. And apparently there was a turn of events, which we know, when Dr. Viviana gave them the assignment. It was Dr. Viviana's exercise. And, you know, Jasmina says, you know, it helped them be like more, well, her anyway, be more open and more vulnerable.
She did. We both saw them open up. That was like,
Michael agrees that, you know,
breakthrough.
It helped him feel comfortable, like, you know, like after the exercise. And Kevin says that everyone felt hope after that exercise. I know I sure did. They said they did too. They felt hope for their relationship as well. Because initially they couldn't stand each other, both of them. On Jasmina's side, Michael said he couldn't stand her ass either.
It was a mutual, not fucking with each other.
Right. But then, you know, after the exercise, they were both kind of like, oh, okay. Friends. And you know, they was hoping that it would grow, you know, from there. So everyone, Kevin says, was happy when Jasmina took her long ass time to say yes. Okay, because we was a little iffy. But since decision day.
Who was happy?
Huh? Everybody.
Kevin said he didn't seem like he was happy. He was like, nah, y'all didn't need to be together. Kevin made it very clear that he
No, that was in the beginning, but he said after he was hopeful, and he said that he was happy. That everyone was happy that Jasmina said yes. And then he wanted to know what they've been doing since decision day. They was looking real cozy up there on the couch and stuff.
Yeah, and they was fooling you.
Michael was like, Rimroll. And of course, Lifetime made a bitch wait, but I ain't about to make y'all wait. Okay? These motherfuckers ain't together no more. They broke up about 12 days after this shit. Apparently.
Well, they weren't living together, and he was leaving her text on red. That won't go take long.
Well, apparently, Michael didn't feel like he was getting what he needed, certain validations and things that he needed. So he called her up and said, yeah, this ain't working. And
he realized he was friend zoned.
Jasmina felt like she put in time and effort. She was like that. She's like, I ain't gonna speak on something I ain't got receipts for. She was like, I'm the one that was initiating the conversations every day. He only made a plan to come to my house once. And she was like, if he ain't say it, I was gonna say it. So basically, and also apparently they got into a really nasty argument within that 12 days. And Michael is confused as to how that one argument is leading them to having a divorce. He was like, so we just gonna get a divorce after this argument? Yes. Yep. Sure. Show is. Well, weren't you the one that called and said you wanted to? Why does it matter what the reason for me wanting the divorce is if you don't want to call me and said you whatever?
Right. Either way, she wanted to be divorced is the point. She wasn't attracted to this man like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just was what it was.
And basically, Kevin brings up the fact that he felt like there was never a romantic attraction on Jasmina's side. And she was like, no, but she was always honest about how she felt. She felt like she was a little too honest. She said it too much. And she really felt like she never came back from where they fell off in the beginning of the relationship. She was like, we were here and we had such a bad time and such a hard time. I can only imagine to go an entire month not speaking to a motherfucker, like they were living in the same house, right?
Right. And you only get 8 weeks. So that's really only like 2 months.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought like maybe
they were for the first month and now we're supposed to be hunky dory for a month.
Yeah. I thought maybe they were in the house arguing or some shit, but to literally not speak at all. And both of y'all feel like y'all can't stand each other. It's making a lot more sense now. So she's like, no, I feel like, after having a whole month of not speaking, I'm not a light switch. I can't just be like, okay, well, since we are having this great time now, which is only about the same amount of time that we weren't speaking, I can't just say, okay, yes, I have romantic feelings for you, but you're a great friend now. I said, Jasmine, you a bitch, you ass. So why you?
Yeah, but you're a great friend.
But she also feels like, she would also compliment Michael and tell him, hey, you look great today. You look really nice. And she wasn't getting that in return. And coming from somebody who said, wow, at the damn altar, she looks fucking amazing.
Right.
That he would. But he said, no, he didn't do that. And he's like, oh, well, I can't romance somebody who don't want to be romanced. And she was like, sir, it's not all physical. And if you know that you're with someone who needs you to be more vocal.
Right.
In order for that connection to grow.
She's clearly an affirmation person. He's an acts of service and she's an affirmation. She needs to hear it.
Yeah, see. I guess that's why I was feeling like it so much because I don't give a fuck if you say it or not. I need to see it.
Yeah.
Your words ain't gonna be shit to me.
Right. See, I need to hear it. So I'm coming from.
Jasmina says that she has not started dating again. She's really in no rush. And Michael is
trying to get back out here.
He back in the dating pool. He is backstroking through this motherfucker apparently.
He said he got somebody he got his eye on. It ain't serious. He ain't went on no dates, but he got somebody he got his eye on.
I like how Kevin broke that down. They're trying to be real specific. And he said he will not be going to his ex-wife for any help or advice. He got enough sisters. And yeah.
I wish it would have went differently, but I can't say that I'm surprised. I told y'all. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I told y'all. This is the one that was talking shit. Okay.
Never.
I told y'all. Okay. I knew it. And I'm gonna spill some tea, goddammit. I knew this motherfucker had money. I knew he had money. Ain't no way in hell you paying most of the damn bills. You sit on your ass all day. Okay. You got something.
He didn't sit on his ass all day. He cooked, he walked sushi.
I mean, he didn't work.
Okay.
He didn't work. And what I say, potential. He had potential. He made investments. He saved money. Yes.
Clearly, y'all know we talking about Noy and Steve, right?
Yes. We didn't even say who the hell we was talking about.
Because I got it to my point. And if you guys have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button.
And the subscribe button. Now let's get into Noy and Steve, okay? Kevin basically says that for Noy and Steve, their transition into marriage was
very smooth.
Easy. Yeah. And they both agreed and both said that, they just kind of went into it open-minded and whoever they got.
The process, trusted.
Yeah, they were going to try and make it work. I feel like it was kind of shots fired a little bit at Alyssa. Just a little bit.
Everybody was shooting a shot at Alyssa. I mean, everybody tried.
They're like, yeah, even if we didn't like, what we saw at the altar, we were still going to try and make it work. And then Kevin brings up about Noy basically immediately falling in love. And Steve says that, he could have done, like, if he could have done it again, he would have definitely probably done a better job at reassuring her. He said that he wanted to just be sure about how he felt, before moving forward. And when Noy finally did get the words, okay, she said it was perfect, okay? And we remember that. He tried to recreate that moment and, tried to make it up to her. And apparently he was actually the first one to say the words, "I love you," because she said she alluded to her falling in love, but she didn't actually say, "I love you." So actually Steve said it first. So he wants to know, the $1 million question. Are they still together? And
of course,
Steve, he's like, "Oh, well, about that. Of course we are." I said, "You know what, Steve? You play too much, okay?
We won't worry about it.
Let me doing it, especially the people that came on right before you. They ain't together. Don't do this."
We knew they were gonna stay together.
And apparently, it's a thing with Noy taking Steve's last name. She's not really sure if she wants to be Noy Moy, but I think she's warming up to the idea. So she's not officially, she doesn't officially have his last name yet. They are living together.
However, she still does have her apartment. And her apartment, which I guess he got the money to do it. So, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. I ain't got no complaints. Look, if that's how you want to spend, that extra money every month, I think of a lot of other things you could do with that rent money. But okay,
I knew Steve is still living in his old ass apartment. He got bread and he still ain't like going crazy. His apartment.
No, but what I'm saying, I'm talking about her keeping her studio apartment.
Because Steve pays all the rent at you're saying like that could be her extra money in her pocket.
Right.
That's true. And if she wanted to get another one, really, she could.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That money and get another one.
That apartment. Yeah. Nah.
I don't know, but apparently she doesn't spend every night there. She spends about 6 nights a week there. And Steve is really not concerned about it. He's like, we see enough of each other. And she's in it. Like she in it for, like, he's like, she's been with me for like 10 family outings. Like he ain't really worried about it. He's like, she in it. And of course, we move on to Steve's employment status.
Right.
Oh, everybody want to know. But I mean,
he is still unemployed.
Yes. And he did give her a timetable of when he was going to start applying for jobs. Now, what's the little after show thing called, Treese? Well, the after show with Keisha Knight Pulliam. Right. Apparently, Noi said that she would feel comfortable with him not working right now if he had at least $40K in his bank account. Now, she then it's not so much about the number, but she just wants to know that, he's stable and responsible enough to have a savings. Now, Kevin, once again, he over here asking $1 million questions, okay? He want to know just how big that bank account is, because right now, Noi is chill. Mm-hmm. She chill as shit. And he says, calm her down, basically. Steve says, by proving, he's financially responsible, and he gave her a plan. Apparently, he got enough money to make that bitch feel comfortable. He said he made some investments. He saved some money. I never doubted you for a moment, Steve. I never, ever doubted you for a moment. I knew it. And basically, she says, it also gives her peace of mind that whenever he promises something, he does it. Yes, the man of your word come through, Steve. Now, Kevin gonna ask about these 3 kids in the making. Of course, Steve over here making little dad jokes, talking about she's pregnant with triplets, and yeah, right. Okay. No, we ain't showing not a bit of nothing. She's about this big, okay? She ain't pregnant with nothing. Okay. She did say that she is now flexible on the 3 kids. I don't know what changed that. She said it's still her ideal number, but she's flexible, and they want to start within like the next year. Then we see a clip of Sriracha grilling Steve about his job plan, and it was a never before seen. I said, well, damn, it went further in depth, because I felt like she was grilling him what they showed on camera, but no, she was like, no, like, what do you plan to do? Like, you need her assistance in telling you like what to do? Like, why can't you just come up with, she was in it. Okay. And Kevin says that, in that moment, he was watching it and he got a sense that Steve would just want to be like, I got money, damn it. Like, I don't need no motherfucking job. I got money. I'm rich.
Right. Stop grilling me out in these streets. Leave me alone.
So apparently everyone out there, the internet, everybody on social media loves Sriracha. So they brought Sriracha on because she is a fan favorite. Sriracha says she feels like the main issue was that he didn't have a plan. It wasn't necessarily about him being unemployed or anything like that. Nobody knew the plan. Okay. We still don't know the plan. Apparently, Noi does. She comfortable with it, whatever the fuck the plan is. Okay. She know they're sitting pretty right now. And she thinks one of their issues is that they don't know how to effectively communicate. But Steve says, that's something that, they're working on. Also, her advice is, even though you're not yelling, that does not mean that you're being condescending. Shots fired. Yes. Apparently in Steve's direction.
And I love that he received it. He knew who she was talking to. He wasn't.
Yeah. He was like, she's talking to me. And I'm sure Sriracha probably mentioned it to him before. Right. And Sriracha was like, he kind of talks to her sometimes like a child. Like, this is why you understand why you shouldn't do it this way. Or
yeah.
I want to know about them social media posts though. Now he does say that he recognizes that, and he is trying to be better. Everybody can be better. And Kevin asked Sriracha, like, are you surprised about your love on social media and the internet? She was like, I mean,
Not
not
really.
really. I ain't really, but I am enjoying the journey,
I love Sriracha. Sriracha was like
yes,
kind of
this
expected.
thing here. So then Kevin brings up Noy's mother and, how Noy felt like maybe her and her siblings were like a burden.
Yeah.
Of course, Noy immediately breaks down crying. And she says that, she really had to think about it. And she feels like, if her parents can do it and raise happy and healthy kids, so can they. It's not,
Right.
I guess it's not really all about, how much money you're making and how much you work and, you know what I mean? You can still raise happy, healthy kids. And Noy basically says moving forward, their future is looking like they're just going to be enjoying each other and being adventurous because that's what you do when you got money.
You're adventurous.
Steve.
Let me tell y'all something. Y'all thought Mark was the shark. Fuck Mark. Lindsay is out here eating these minnows. Okay. So we get into Mark and Lindsay. Kevin sits down with them and, talks about how they, came out the gate and they seemed like they was swinging and everything was going well, and shows them the wedding video again. And, Lindsay says that watching that, she felt really connected to Mark during the honeymoon and she felt that they were a team and she was so proud, to call him her husband. She said that he stuck with her and stuck by her. And when she trusts one, she can be vulnerable. And, she said, even during the awkward situations, he stuck by her. And that meant a lot to her. When y'all were feeling secluded as fuck because you started a problem, but okay. And she felt safe in his presence. Now, Mark says it was really good chemistry out the gate for them and it just flowed and it just clicked. Mark is trying to be graceful as fuck, y'all. Mark is just like, it is.
I feel like he always has.
Right. Then Kevin gets right into it. He references all the times that Mark and Lindsay said that she was done and ready to leave the marriage, and they play back the footage. Now, he asked, was that a mistake? And she said she has a hard time understanding who Mark was. She said that he's attached to his phone. And, in front of the camera, he's Mark the Shark. But other than that, he's not really engaging with her or
doing. He's pessimistic.
Yeah, very pessimistic. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin wants them to both agree that they own a part, both own a part in their disagreements. Lindsay does admit that she thought it was a point of reflection, and says that she said a lot of things that she regrets. And she hopes that she can learn from it moving forward. So they're still giving you this BS, like they're still rocking, right? This is what we're doing. Now, Mark says in a lot of situations, he could have spoke up and let her know where he was at, but he felt that they came out stronger. Now, Kevin asked the golden question. Why the hell did y'all decide to stay married on decision day? If everything was so toxic and all of your issues. And Lindsay says, well, I felt that he really supported me. And, Mark says, well, yeah, I felt that way too, but it was like one week would be a good week and the next week would be a bad week and every other week was a different week and I didn't know which week I was going to get. You're not really supporting your answer.
It's his final answer was that last week leading up to decision day.
It was a glimpse of what it could be. I do
exactly.
have that. Okay.
But my thing is, if every other week is good or bad, this is just a good week, sir.
That's a red fucking flag.
Fuck.
Right. So Yeah, no, Lindsay let us know that she is so then Kevin asks, are you guys still together? And Lindsay let us know she is absolutely not Miss Mark the Shark. She is not doing that. She doesn't want to do that. She said that she went in to help him after decision day to renovate that house for his grandmother. She done cleaned out the house, did all types of stuff. And I heard
cleaned out her apartment.
I heard someone else say that they thought he was a user, that's other public opinion as well, that Mark was just using her. Now, granted, she may need to go to AA and do some other things, but at the end of the day, there are people out there that do feel like he was just using Lindsay.
Apparently, it was 7 days after decision day. I guess she worked on the house for 7 days. She
had her place in the house
and moved out of her place. It was actually being rented. The day they got into an
argument. Get it kicked out.
Yeah.
So she was like, I don't understand how somebody that I've done so much for, and I guess this is where my inner Lindsay comes out, because that's how I would feel. I don't understand how I done so much for you. Now, I might talk a lot of shit, but I sat here and done all the shit for you. And now you're like, fuck me. And you really about to put me on it and charge me rent and change the locks and do all types of shit? What?
Especially when I just got rid of my apartment.
Right. So Mark's side of the story is that, they kept having arguments, and the arguments were, I said it was only, look, I didn't realize it was 7 days when you said that. It was only damn 7 days.
Well, I think initially it was 7 days, but then it sounded like it was a month later. And then that's when it was done.
Okay. Because he was like, and it just kept spiraling. And I was like, it was only 7 days. So
by spiraling, what he said was she was getting in his face and threatening him. Now, I thought he meant like threatening him physically, but she apparently was saying things like, oh, I'm going to take you for what you got, and I'm going to end you, and all this other shit.
And it's so stupid because, Lindsay, Mark ain't got shit.
I guess that's why he was so scared.
So basically, we learn, obviously they not together. Lindsay has moved on. She's now moving to the West Coast. Mm-hmm. She's over there at Palo Alto. It's supposed to be in the Bay Area. So
San Francisco.
So she's happy about doing that. She feels like there's people that are smart with intellect over there. And Kevin she keeps saying intellect and smart. And so Kevin is like, I feel like you keep do you feel like she's taking a dig at you? And he's like, no, because, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm definitely, she's like, he's not smart. He's not
intellectual. I was like, because I'm real smart and I'm quick-witted, and I need somebody like with that same energy. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Felt like it was a good place for, to pick a good man. She said she get along well with engineers and things like that because she's so smart. So she is renting a condo there. She got a whole new job. And she said she's been dating. It's going great. Mark hasn't, apparently. He ain't really.
Mark is like, I want no parts of it. And honestly, Mark needs to work on himself. I don't think he knew all these things were going to happen to him during the process. But now that he has all this shit on his plate, he needs to sit and work on himself, especially with the job and all these cats and shit like that. He needs to take time and sit and work on himself for a little bit and figure out what he really wants.
Well, he did say he just passed the firefighter test. So he's hoping, to get on the department. Kevin asked, is there any chance for them to be friends? And Lindsay said she has no desire for him to be in her life. I said, well, goddamn. And
no, she was ruthless. I told y'all she was a shark. Fuck a baby shark. She was in there. She didn't care.
Yeah.
She did not care.
Mark was like, okay, well, that's fine. But I still feel the same way I felt. Like, I still wish you the best in California. And Lindsay looked like she gave 2 fucks.
Well, that's Mark and Lindsay. Won't be no baby sharks around here. No time soon.
Mm-mm.
Thank you
Thank you guys
for tuning in to another review of Married at First Sight. We are closing out the season. This is part 1 of the reunion. Please make sure that you catch us next week for part 2. And make sure before you head out, you like,
you comment,
you subscribe,
and hit the notification bell.
And we appreciate you guys watching. We see us growing, Shade Squad, and just want to thank you for your continued support. We love you. Have a good night.
Mwah. Good night.
Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Hey!